In the days when King Xerxes, also called Ahasuerus, reigned over the vast empire from India to Ethiopia, he held a grand feast for all his nobles and officials. The palace in Susa was adorned with white and blue linens, golden couches, and marble pillars. Wine flowed freely, and the king displayed the greatness of his majesty for 180 days. At the end of the feast, the king called for Queen Vashti to appear before the men wearing her royal crown, so he could boast of her beauty. But Queen Vashti refused. In his anger, and urged by his advisors, the king declared Vashti stripped of her royal title, never again to enter his presence. A search began for a new queen to take her place. In Susa, a Jewish man named Mordecai lived in exile. He had raised his young cousin Hadassah, whom he called Esther, after her parents had died. Esther was beautiful, with a graceful spirit. When the king's decree went out, Esther was taken to the royal harem along with many other young women. Under the care of Haggai, the keeper of the women, Esther found favor and was treated with kindness. She listened carefully to advice and obeyed Mordecai, who instructed her not to reveal she was Jewish. When it was Esther's turn to go before the king, she requested nothing but what Haggai recommended. King Xerxes was captivated by her beauty and heart, and he set the royal crown upon her head, making her queen. Meanwhile, Mordecai uncovered a plot to assassinate the king. He told Esther, who warned the king, giving credit to Mordecai. The plot was foiled, and the deeds were recorded in the royal chronicles. Soon after, a man named Haman was promoted to the highest position under the king. The king commanded that all should bow to Haman, but Mordecai refused. Haman was enraged. When he discovered Mordecai was a Jew, he decided not only to punish Mordecai but to destroy all the Jewish people throughout the empire. Haman convinced the king to issue a decree to annihilate the Jews on a set day, casting lots, Purim, to determine the date. Letters were sent out to every province, spreading fear and mourning among the Jews. Mordecai put on sackcloth and ashes and mourned publicly. He sent word to Esther, urging her to go before the king and plead for their people. Esther hesitated. Anyone who approached the king without being summoned could be put to death, unless he extended his golden scepter. Mordecai sent a reply, "Do not think that you will escape in the king's palace any more than all the other Jews. And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Strengthened by Mordecai's words, Esther sent back a message, "Gather all the Jews in Susa. Fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my mates will fast likewise. Then I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. If I perish, I perish." After 3 days, Esther donned her royal robes and stood in the inner court. When the king saw her, he was pleased and extended his golden scepter. "What is it, Queen Esther?" "Even up to half the kingdom, it will be given you," he said. Esther, with wisdom, did not immediately make her request. Instead, she invited the king and Haman to a special banquet. At the banquet, the king asked again what she desired. Esther simply invited him and Haman to a second banquet the next day. Haman, proud and intoxicated by the queen's invitation, still burned with hatred toward Mordecai. He built a gallows, 50 cubits high, intending to hang Mordecai on it. That night, the king could not sleep. He ordered the royal chronicles to be read to him. There he discovered the account of Mordecai saving his life. "What honor has been given to Mordecai for this?" The king asked. "Nothing has been done," they replied. At that very moment, Haman entered the court to ask for Mordecai's execution. The king, unaware of Haman's intentions, asked Haman, what should be done for the man the king delights to honor. Thinking the king meant him, Haman described lavish honors. The king said, "Hurry. Take the robe and the horse as you have said, and do so for Mordecai the Jew who sits at the king's gate. Leave out nothing." Haman, humiliated, obeyed. At the second banquet, the king again asked Esther what she desired. Esther replied, "If I have found favor in your sight, O king, and if it pleases the king, let my life be granted to me, and the lives of my people. For we have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated." The king, shocked, demanded, "Who is he? and where is he who has dared to do this? Esther answered, an adversary and enemy, this wicked Haman. The king, in a rage, left the room. Haman, terrified, fell upon Esther to beg for his life. When the king returned and saw this, he ordered Haman to be hanged on the very gallows he had built for Mordecai. The king gave Esther Haman's estate and elevated Mordecai to Haman's position. But the king's decree against the Jews could not be revoked. Instead, another decree was issued, allowing the Jews to defend themselves. On the appointed day, the Jews fought against those who sought their destruction and prevailed. Great fear of the Jews fell upon the people, and many officials helped them. Thus, the Jewish people were delivered from their enemies. Mordecai and Esther decreed that the days of their deliverance should be remembered every year as the Feast of Purim, named after the lots Haman cast. It would be a time of feasting, joy, and giving gifts to the poor. Even today, Purim is celebrated with gladness and gratitude for God's hidden hand in protecting his people. Mordecai rose to power, second only to King Xerxes. He worked for the good of his people and spoke peace to all their descendants, and so, through courage, faith, and the providence of God, Esther and Mordecai changed the fate of an entire nation.
Thanks for watching. I'm sure you've been blessed by the video. Please do well to like, share, and subscribe.